Who here has been sucked into the commercialization of mental health? I don't even know when it started. I've always been like a pretty happy person, a happy kid. I never really had too many big life events in my life that I've had to deal with. I mean, I don't know. Like, I guess everybody goes through something at some point. I guess I did. But I don't think it derailed me from my life, as I've heard some instances have for other people. For example, deaths in the family, deaths of pets, loss of friendships, loss of relationships, drama, school drama, stuff like that, bullying, social factors. Yeah, I know I've like a lot of stuff like that has definitely, I mean, in some ways, in little ways, certain things like that have impacted me, but again, never enough to have derailed my path in life, like by too much at least. I don't, did I make a video about it? I guess during uni I kind of went through this huge mental breakdown and redirection of path in life, and I guess I'm still on that just a little bit. I find myself lost sometimes, but I'm trying to stay super positive now. I told myself that I never want to speak negative again because there was a point in my life that all I would think was negative things, and it was just such a bad habit. And like once you get in the habit of speaking bad, it's like bad stuff just starts to follow you. And I recognized that and I was like, no, I need to get out of this. And I strongly believe whatever you put out into the world comes back to you. So if you put out negative intentions into the world, negativity will fall upon you. That's why it's so important to only speak positivity into existence. I truly believe that. This past couple months of my life have changed dramatically, and my life's been changing for the better in so many ways just because I did that small change of starting to speak positivity into my life, guys. If your life or your mental health is not good right now, I promise you, step one is try to take out all negative talk surrounding yourself and your life and everything. But yeah, again, struggling with certain aspects of my mental health. Oh yeah, actually, I really did struggle with my mental health looking back at it, and I still do. I guess I kind of just like to block it out and pretend it doesn't exist. Not that it doesn't exist, but that I'm okay so that I can move forward. But besides the point, mental health is becoming such a big thing, and I think that's really good because it's bringing awareness. And I think the most important part of that, I know there's a lot of people around the topic that are not the biggest fan because they think that it's introducing certain bad trends. Like, I know at one point it was a trend to be depressed or a trend to have certain mental illnesses, which is insane because I don't wish that upon anybody, and I don't know why anybody would want to have that, but it became a trend at one point. So I see that aspect of it, but I also think talking about mental health and stuff like that has allowed more people to feel more comfortable and talking about it if they're really struggling and seeking help, because it's less of a like taboo thing. You know, if you feel like everybody's going through it, you're like, okay, well, there's something wrong like with me, like I'm gonna go try to do something about it. Whereas if you feel like, oh my gosh, like I'm the only person dealing with this, like I don't want to put myself out there and expose myself that I'm also struggling with this, you know? So I think that's such a good thing that mental health has become such a big thing. But again, with that, I will say there's such a commercialization around mental health. It's quite concerning because, how do I say this? I feel like personally, I feel like for a good amount of mental health cases, I feel like a lot of it probably stems from financial instability or financial insecurity. I know a lot of divorces happen because of financial reasons. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments below. But yeah. So with that, I think it's funny that now to get over your mental health issues and to solve them and to cure them, you have to put all this money into buying your health back. And I think that's absurd. You don't need to buy your health back. Guys, there's so many other ways to fix your mental health or to just become internally healthier as a person. You know, I think that, again, for example, it's free to speak positivity into your life. You don't need to pay anyone to speak positivity into your life. Okay, that's already step one. Step two is going outside into nature and literally, yes, hugging trees and touching grass. It really is that simple. I've never experienced, when I tell you, I have never experienced more peace in my entire life than when I was on an 18-day hiking trip, secluded in like the outback. And I barely spoke for 18 days. I was just in nature, enamored by nature. And I swear that trip healed something in me that I didn't even know needed to be healed. And just being in nature is so healing. I can't explain it. And you know why? You know how I know this is true? It's because then at one point they started coming out with like green rooms that you have to pay for. And I'm like, that is insane. Like there's wellness rooms now where you have to pay to go sit in a room of grass and listen to like rainforest music. What? That's crazy. Why are you paying to sit in a room of grass and like fake clouds surrounding you listening to nature sounds when you can go out into the nature yourself for free? And it's actually real and it's not fake stuff around you. That's how I know it's real. It's because they started doing that and I was like, wow, you know what? That makes a lot of sense because my 18-day hiking trip was the most bliss I've ever experienced in my entire life. Okay, how many things that is? That's 2 things. Okay, and then finally, I think the other biggest thing that mental health is commercializing is obviously, or just a couple more things, like prescription medication. I don't think that God didn't put anything on this earth that wasn't supposed to be there to heal us. Like, I think he put everything on the earth that was meant to take care of us. Okay, so we don't need to be taking all these pills and drugs to block and suppress our emotions. That's crazy. There's so many natural herbs that you can take. What is the big one? Ashwagandha. Okay, yeah, well, does this count as commercialization? Because you kind of have to pay for that. But not even. Just drinking teas and having a good wind down and relaxation. Find whatever works for you. Having a bath, a soothing bath. Drinking some tea, okay? You don't need to buy prescription medication to make you feel better. Go on a run. Go on action. There's no way if you're suffering internally or something's on your mind and you're having like a breakdown, go on a 20-minute run or go on a sprint with a friend or something. I promise you'll be so distracted and in pain from running and not being able to breathe and sweating so hard, because whenever you work out with something on your mind, I swear the workout just becomes 1,000 times harder and I sweat 1,000 times more and I'm like dying. Try to think about whatever's on your mind and bothering you while you're sprinting. It's hard, I promise you. Go on a Stairmaster. I remember I used to just go on the Stairmaster for an hour at like level 9 when something was on my mind, and it really did help because by the end of it too, I was like too tired and too dead to even like put that much brain power into worrying about what I was worrying about, you know? That's another thing, right? And I'm not saying you need to go to the gym. If there's a road outside, you can run. If there's a hill by your house, do sprints up and down the hill. Okay? And thirdly, or is it fourthly? I can't remember which one I'm on. But the commercialization surrounding therapists. Now, I'm not saying that therapists are like a scam or like a bad thing, or we don't need therapists, because I definitely think that's nice to have. Like, it's beautiful, it's expensive, so you know what I mean? It's more about, or you don't quite need to have a therapist. A therapist is just human, right? So they can't entirely not have biases when they're talking to you. It's like your therapist isn't a god. They're not going to be able to tell you this is right and this is wrong. You know what I mean? Yeah, they can help you understand your emotions, which is good, but I think a lot of people go to therapists also to like figure out life, if that makes sense. And I'm like, it's kind of funny because it's like therapists are human too. They're trying to figure out life, are they not? So having someone or something bigger to turn to, for example, if that's your religion, and kind of praying to your God and asking them for clarity in your life and understanding and to heal you, I think that's great. And guess what? It's free. Another thing is that in this day and age, especially, I think it's really hard for people to find friends and make meaningful connections. And even with families, I noticed that a lot of people are not as close to their family members anymore. And I don't know, it's kind of sad that so many people are lonely. At one point, I was really lonely.